So practice for the Falcons have started. Training camp has started, all that good stuff, and we already have a quote unquote issue. I'm going to talk about the whole thing with James Pearce Jr., edge rusher, picked up by the Falcons with the 26th pick of the draft. I think it was 26 of the first round. They traded back in from Tennessee, and we're going to talk about what's been going on with him. Apparently, he's been in a couple fights, give my thoughts and opinions on that. Also, I want to talk about Georgia Southern, their preseason schedule, what's that going to look like, and I'm pretty excited about both of these. So let's go ahead and get into this. If this is your first time here, welcome. Over here, I talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. This is the place where I talk about most of the sports side of things, and you see a lot of gaming stuff in the background. I do have another channel where I talk about gaming, but I do love football dearly, so we're going to talk about it. Let's go ahead and get into this. James Pearce James Pearce Jr. was in a fight with a couple of guys, Matthew Bergeron and Caleb McGarry, won a couple plays, and I think this is nothing to be tripping on. I think this is a really good thing because you got a guy who really cares. He don't want to get beat. He probably was in a situation where he's trying to get past these two guys, and you got to think about it: Matthew Bergeron and Caleb McGarry, and Caleb get a little bit of flack, but they're still solid guys on the offensive line. I mean, the Falcons have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So he's going up against a lot of guys and tough guys. And as a rookie, you're going to be a little frustrated. And as a rookie, you're still learning. So all this stuff is a process for him. I think he's going to be fine in the long run. Jeff Albrecht, all the other guys that are on the field practicing along with them, these are a lot of guys that are really going to show him the right way because you're going to have that little chip on your shoulder. You're going to have the situation where you think you have to prove everything on your first go. But you got to understand, your first round pick, they're invested in you. All you have to do is go out there and do your job. And from what I hear, he's doing really good so far. It's just this little thing, couple of scuffles, and it is really a thing that you want to see. I would like to see him do that with the other opponents, not with the teammates. But this is what you want to have with your type of player, especially edge rushers, guys on defense. You want to have that fire. You want a guy that's out there that's going to have that emotion. The guy that don't mind getting into other people's faces, put that kind of fear in other offensive linemen around the league. So this is going to be something to monitor. I think it's going to be good for all intents and purposes. I think it's going to be fine. But I do feel like at the end of the day, it's just a learning experience. I think he's going to learn a little bit, know that he doesn't have to do so much. So basically, like what it says here, what if James Pearce turns to a Pro Bowl edge rusher? I think that he can do that. I think he has the mechanics and everything to be that. But because he looked like a budding superstar on the third day. So look, on the third day, they said like SI.com right here. Shout out to them. I always like to go to them when I look at things about the Falcons. He looked good. And so he was involved in a scuffle with back-to-back plays when he was lined up on the left side. I think he had an issue with Caleb McGarry. He also had an issue with Matthew Bergeron. But like I said, this is what you want to see going into the season with your players, not just with him, but with other players. So you want to get everybody fired up and know that this is what's going on. This is the deal. This is what's happening. We're in the trenches. We got to get it going. And I like I said, I think it's going to be fine. Hopefully nobody's making this a big make a big spill out of this, blowing this over bigger than what it needs to be. I think they're going to be fine. So no worries here. I actually like this fire and emotion. It's not like the other edge rushers we had in the past, like the Tack McKinleys of the world. He talked a good game, but you know how that went. Do I need to talk about the other edge rushers that came through, like, outside of John Abraham? We had the edge rushers that was like, all right, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So it's good to see somebody out there that has this fire. So I think it's going to work out. Let's go to the next topic. Georgia Southern preseason football schedule. It starts in a couple days of this recording, July 30th. They're going to have practice at the training facility on Wednesday, Thursday as well at 3:30. Friday, August 1st, they're going to have practice on the field on Allen E. Paulson Stadium. They're going to be down there Saturday at Paulson as well. Sunday, they're going to be off. When you look at August 4th, they're going to be back at Tippins. That's the indoor facility. Then they're going to go out to beautiful Eagle Creek on the 5th on Tuesday, Wednesday. They're going to be, and Thursday, both going to be at Tippins. Friday they're off. Saturday is the scrimmage game, scrimmage number 1 at 7 p.m. And Sunday on August 10th they're going to be off. Now, I would like to join them for the scrimmage. I really want to see what these guys are about. I really want to see it. I'm kind of excited about this team. I've already talked about this before. I think they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Sun Belt. So I want to see up front how they're playing. I may try to make that trip on the 9th. I don't know. That's like, a week from this month. A week from this month. The week from this weekend. And they're having another they're having another scrimmage on the 16th, and that's probably one I will probably be able to go to more likely than the 9th. So either way, I'm all for it. I want to try to get to one of them, if not both. I'm probably leaning on towards the one, and that's on the 16th. But this is a good opportunity to see what this team is about. It's a good opportunity to see what they're doing. There's a good opportunity to see how far you think they can go by actually watching them on the field. Now, it's one thing to watch them in spring practice. That's cool, but so much have changed since then. People have transferred out. Some people are not probably on the depth chart like they were back then. A lot of things may have changed. So now we're looking at, hey, let's see what this team is going to look like when they go out to Fresno. What this type of team is going to look like for the whole season. Barring injury, hopefully there will be no injuries. Hopefully we have a pretty solid team going into college football this year, as well as the Falcons. Hopefully that they look good as well when it's going into the NFL preseason. So the preseason is pretty much here. Football is going to be on deck pretty much till like now until like the end of the middle or the beginning of February. So we're looking really good right now. And I got some pretty, high hopes for the teams. I think these teams can do, good things. Right now, looking like the Falcons could easily win the division or win or make it to the playoffs. You still got the Buccaneers. You just don't know what the Saints or the Panthers going to do. But looking at it on paper right now, it looks like the Falcons could be the favorites. But we've said that for the past 3 or 4 years. You saw how that happened. When it comes to Georgia Southern's been slowly but surely trying to get up there. 6 wins 1 year. I think, 6 wins again, 2 years in a row. Then you turn around and get 8 wins now. And then after the 8 wins, the sky's the limit. And I really believe that as being a group of 5 or a group of 4 team, they could make some noise. And depends on, like I said before, depending on what they do in these first 2 games, they have a chance to really run the table as a 1-loss team. And then you're probably looking at like the college playoff. And I know that's a big stretch, but for a group of 5, a group of 4 team to make it there with the Georgia Southern, that would be a big accomplishment for this team. Now, I don't know how far they're going to go. I mean, like I said, on paper, they look like one of the top teams in the Sun Belt. You can make the case that could happen, but you just don't know. But the only thing you can do is play the games that's in front of you, try to win those games, and it's all going to start like it's starting with the Falcons right now. They're already in practice, and it's going to start with Georgia Southern. They're about to start practicing, and they're going to be scrimmaging as well. So, both teams are going to be scrimmaging. Preseason coming up. It's going to be really interesting to see how it goes. So, let me know what you guys think. I think that this is going to be pretty interesting to see. Both teams look pretty solid, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to get up out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will be bringing more content to you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, day, morning, wherever you are. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out.